Hey guys, so a couple weeks ago I went to a seminar hosted by Lilly and Wesley, and it was a powerlifting clinic. It ran about 5 hours. It was about 9 a.m. until, it was supposed to last until 1, but it ran until 2. And they had a lot of good information there, and a few people have been asking me to share a little bit about what I learned while I was there. And they touched a lot on squat technique. The first half was really focused on getting squat technique right, and we actually had people go up. But I didn't really want to go over the technique aspect of it, except maybe to say that the main thing I learned was that everything we've been taught when we're powerlifting in terms of technique has been things that have carried over from geared lifting. And Lilly and Wesley were really dialing in on the fact that as a raw lifter, you can't squat or bench or deadlift the same as a geared lifter, and especially when it comes to squatting, because sitting back into a squat is for geared lifters, whereas a raw lifter would sit down into a squat. I actually wanted to touch more on meets, like how to train for a meet and attempt selection, which is what I was most confused about. So getting right into it, accessory work. Accessory work is a big thing, because we all know, okay, we need to squat, bench, and deadlift to get better at squatting, benching, and deadlifting, but a lot of people sometimes focus on, okay, what accessory do I have to do? What do I have to do in addition to that to get better at it? And if you have a sticky point, or if you weak out of the hole, then you pick your accessories so that it will complement your routine. For example, you would do pause squats to get better out of the hole, or you would do the safety bar squat if you have a tendency of hunching over. If you have a main movement like a squat, what you want to do to address your issues with that main movement should only differ from the main movement by one variable, and that variable could be adding a box to your box squats, adding a chain, adding a band, changing the type of bar, changing the bar positioning, changing your foot stance, and all of these things can be done to address other issues that you have, but you shouldn't squat to a box with some chains on, with a different stance, with a different bar position, because it has less carryover. If you squat the way you would squat at a meet and you want to change one thing to address an issue, then awesome. If not, maybe what you think is really helping you isn't really helping you as much as it could. So that was really helpful. Change one thing about the main movement and make that your accessory movement. The more advanced you get as a lifter, the less accessory work you need, and the more time you need to spend doing the actual movement. My question was, so how do you pick your attempts at a meet? And Lilly basically said, at a meet, he tries to go 7 for 7 with our, he doesn't take his third squat and bench attempt. And the reason he does that is so he could save his energy for the rest of his lifts for the day. The way that he says he does his attempts is that his second attempt is a 5-pound PR. So that gives you 2 chances to hit that as a PR at a meet. So if the second attempt something goes wrong, the third attempt you could hit it. And if the second attempt goes up super easy, then you'd take your third attempt. On top of that, you'd add another 5 pounds. That's a really smart way of going about it, and Lilly mentioned that a lot of people try to go for these 20, 30-pound PRs, and he's like, okay, so where is this coming from? How are you PRing 30 pounds randomly at a meet? Like, yeah, sometimes you could be hyped up to do something like that, but for the most part, the more advanced you get, the harder it is, and you need to take these 5-pound PRs. And if you're going to be doing, let's say, 3 meets a year, if in all those meets you get a 5-pound PR in every lift, that's 15 pounds you're adding to each, or 15 pounds you're adding to your total every meet. And at the end of the year, that's like 45 pounds, which is a lot. And especially the more advanced you get, 5 pounds is incredible to add on to your meet total. So obviously, I didn't even cover portion of what was covered in the 5-hour seminar, but maybe this gives you a little better idea of the kind of information that's offered at these seminars, so maybe you can go check one out. I know that they have one locally in the LA area in September. I'm not sure about the details of that, but it's definitely worth it to check it out. Brandon Lilly and Chad Wesley Smith, if anything, they have a lot of time and experience under the bar, and they were very helpful. They answered every single question that was asked. I recommend for any of you guys to really check out one of their seminars, especially if you're into powerlifting. I think anytime you get a chance to talk to somebody who's more experienced than you, it's a great opportunity. I mean, why not? So, hope you guys like the video. Good luck with your lifting. Okay, so bye.